right, hello everyone. Welcome back. We've got a really exciting competitive game of old school Magic the Gathering. Today we'll be watching an elimination game, a top 16 game played in the 7-point Singleton format. If you want to skip right to that game, the timestamp is in the description below. And if you want to learn more about this format, which is personally my favorite format in old school, there's a link to the Facebook group where these tournaments are hosted, also in the description. This format, for people not familiar, it's you have a 60-card deck with no sideboard, and you can only have 7 points of cards from the pointed list here. So if you want to run a Soul Ring, that's 4 points. It's very expensive. Most people will opt for some of the cheaper cards or the lower pointed cards here, and if a card isn't listed in this picture, it's worth 0 points. So with that, let's just kind of jump into the two decks here. The first deck here, this is the one that I'll be playing with today. I've been kind of tweaking the white and green deck over a few tournaments and have been kind of happy how it's performed. Really, the key card here is Armageddon, which allows you to destroy all of your opponent's lands. It's a devastating card in Singleton, especially if you're able to set up your board, maybe get a Sylvan Library out early, get some lands in your hand, and play it. You pretty much can win games when you play it. Couple cards that work really well with Armageddon are things like Preacher. So Preacher is a creature from the dark. When you tap Preacher, your opponent has to give you one of their creatures. So if they only have one creature out and you Armageddon, maybe you source the Plowshare when their creature's then Armageddon, then you tap your creature and your Preacher and you get their only creature. It can be very devastating. Same with Witch Hunter, probably one of my favorite cards here in the dark and certainly in this deck. For 3 mana, you can return a creature to its opponent's hand. So again, you can see if you're able to Armageddon and then play out lands that are in your hand, or maybe you return a big creature, a Shivan Dragon, to their hand, and then Armageddon. Lots of really cool combos there. Other than that, it's got your classic green ramp cards, Birds of Paradise, Llanowar Elves. It's got a erhnamgeddon, some hidden cards here from the dark I like to play with, like Lurker. Another one, but overall, I'd say pretty solid, white-green deck, and really want to play that Armageddon. Looking at the other deck here, our opponent's deck. So this is a red-black deck, and mono red is quite strong in Singleton. Mono black is really strong in the Singleton format right now, and black red, of course, mush them together, and you've got a really great deck. His pointed cards are Maze of Ith, Wheel of Fortune, Fireball, and a Mind Twist. And other than that, though, you see lots of staples. You got your Lightning Bolts, your Chain Lightnings for removal. You see the black staple here of Royal Assassin, which allows you to kill a tapped creature. And he's got some of the classic combos that work well with that, like Icy Manipulator. Tap your opponent's creature, assassinate it. One thing I'd point out, too, in Singleton is that the format usually plays a little slower than regular old school, so something like Fisher, love seeing Fisher, is going to be more viable in a format like this. And overall, it just looks like a really strong deck, and we'll see. You're going to have to get the Armageddon off to beat this one. Let's see what happens. All right, let's jump into this game, the top 16 game, call it playoff game of 7-point Singleton, old school Magic the Gathering. And yeah, we'll see. I think this is the second time I've made top 16 with a version of this deck. After this, after this tournament, was kind of thinking of switching to some different colors, but I'm going to see how the white-green performs. I think right now in 2022, black and red are kind of the dominant colors in the format, and off the bat we're seeing a Mishra's Workshop and a Mountain, so potentially mono red or red something. Again, when I was playing this, people have seen the deck text before the video, but when playing this I didn't know his deck. I'm putting out a Scavenger Folk there, so it's a 1/1. From the dark, you'll see this deck has a ton of cards from the dark. I tried to just love the artwork in that set. So it's a 1/1. It can be tapped to destroy target artifact, and so it's a good, either it's 1/1 creature or removal for the format. And there comes a swamp. So we're playing a black-red. Sylvan Library, like an early Sylvan Library, I always feel, I feel like my win rate is very high when I get that out, especially in Singleton. Being able to dig and find exactly what you need when you only have one of each card it's much stronger in this format than in like regular old school, in my opinion. And yeah, so any if he plays out a disc or icy manipulator or anything, we'll just get rid of it with Scavenger Folk. And for now though, we'll just keep hitting him for 1. Okay, or not. Now, I feel like trading a Scavenger Folk for a Lightning Bolt, again, in the Singleton format is... I'm okay with that, right? Like, that's... I'll take that. Lightning Bolt kills a lot of the creatures in my deck. Birds of Paradises, War Mammoths, Preachers. And there's an early Sedge Troll, so that's just a phenomenal card. It's a 2/2, but it becomes a 3/3 if there's a swap out, which he does have, so it's a 3/3 with regeneration. So at any point it goes to the graveyard. Before it enters the graveyard, you can regenerate it, or stop it from going to the graveyard. And responding with an erhnamgeddon, that is one of the best creatures in my deck. Strongest, probably, other than Sarah Angel. Just a 4/5, and I am going to have to give his Sedge Troll Forest Walk, making it unblockable. Of course, that will happen the next upkeep, so right now it does not have Forest Walk. So I think the last time I made the top 16 with this deck, I wound up playing the person that made it to the finals, and I lost. So I was hoping to hopefully find my first kind of playoff win here, but we'll see. I'm trying to push the limits of what the green-white can do in the format, I think, but now we're thinking. Now, one thing I've noticed in the Singleton format, I do love 7-point Singleton because you just see such a wide range of cards from the old school card pool. But one thing I've noticed is that, like, early on, oh, here comes the Thunder Spirit. You'll make a move, and then 2, 3, 4 turns later, it kind of put you down a path where it's like, oh, if I could just rewind the clock and went down a different way. That seems to happen more in Singleton. You kind of get locked in or stuck down certain paths when you're playing the format. So you do have to be really careful, especially early on your turn order. And here's a Thunder Spirit, so 2/2 flying with first strike, which at the face looks like a really strong card. I find it to be okay. Oh, here comes a Juggernaut. It just doesn't, it doesn't stop Juggernauts, that's for sure. And it's just very, and a Maze of Ith. Oof. Maze of Ith is difficult to deal with. That is a land card from the dark that allows you to untap attacking creature. So if I attack with Thunder Spirit, he could just Maze of Ith it. But yeah, a Thunder Spirit, it's fine. It just, the 2/2, it just gets destroyed by every removal card. Even the AO pile from Fallen Empires gets rid of it. So, but we'll see. Oof. And if he plays Juggernaut, I respond with Juggernaut. And yeah, I attacked, probably forgetting he had Maze of Ith, or maybe just seeing if he would forget to. Sometimes I've done this where I play Maze of Ith and just forget to use it, but he remembers there. So at this point on the board, he does have an unblockable Sedge Troll, so... And of course, Juggernaut has to attack. I think the plan here, I think you block with Juggernaut. Block Juggernaut with Juggernaut, just get them both off the board. Counting lands, that never makes me feel good when someone's counting lands, because it's like they have Fireball or something. So again, the unblockable Sedge coming in. don't remember the conversation here. I think I'm declaring Juggernaut as a blocker on Juggernaut. As we're seeing in the game so far, everyone kind of playing out what they want to play out to a degree. Uh-oh. Okay, so originally tapping, untapping. Now he's got a Maze of Ith. This is interesting. His own Juggernaut. So just the Sedge Scroll goes through. Let's see his second main phase, what he's got. So yeah, in Maze of Ith just removes the creature from combat, so I'll keep my Juggernaut. Okay, so we'll know at least this turn, minimum, my Juggernaut will attack. I'm not sure what type of trickery he's up to with the Maze of Ith. Down to 10 life. He's at 19. Just feeling okay about it, though. At least his maze is tapped. Does have a factory, though. Okay, so the question is again, what do you kind of flip on here? If you're watching this, I'm going to activate the Chaos Orb. Probably the Maze of Ith is probably what I would do. That's a tough one. So responding with a Shatter, and that means the Chaos Orb goes away before I could flip. The game just skipped there. I also play a Spirit Link. I think I remember at this point in the match, I had a Chaos Orb and Spirit Link in my hand and had no idea what to turn order or what to cast it on. So just to clear, Spirit Link isn't like Life Link. You don't gain the life instantly, so I have 10 life. If he was to do 10 damage with a Juggernaut, Sedge Troll, and a Mishra Factory, I would die before the Spirit Link life was gained. So I think there was just a lot of me thinking about, do I flip the orb on something first, then Spirit Link, and that. There's a very, very long turn. I kind of just edited out. So the Spirit Link is on the Sedge Troll. Okay, so he blocks the erhnamgeddon with the Juggernaut. I think the erhnamgeddon, I was okay with that because it was just making his creatures unblockable, which I didn't really care for. And I keep a Juggernaut. On board Juggernaut. Yeah, Juggernaut went through there for 5. Keeping the Spirit Link back. Now, unfortunately, I just don't have the Chaos Orb to get rid of that Maze of Ith. I think my deck... Oof, and there's an Earthquake. And here there was a little confusion. Does the Earthquake does damage to the Sedge Troll? Do I gain life from the Spirit Link? Which I think I think he I did here. I'll wind up taking it back next turn. That's just not how it works. But okay, so now we're just kind of, this match is heading towards a kind of a slobber knocker here, where we're just unclear where it's going. Creatures are coming out, being destroyed. That was a great Earthquake. Let's see. Still gonna have to deal with that Maze of Ith at some point. Sometimes you can just play more creatures and overwhelm it. And there comes again one of my, as I say in every video, my favorite cards, the War Mammoth. Just a picture of an elephant or a picture of a mammoth. Just a 3/3 with trample. Works great with giant growth. Just got a 6/6 trampler pretty quickly there. Okay, so we're playing with a decent tempo, kind of playing out creature threats every turn. So far, he's been responding really well. We'll see what he's got, and there's a Hypnotic Spectre. I mean, how many games have I lost to Hypnotic Spectre in old school? Just so many. It's just such a frustrating, I mean, the art is just so classic, but it's really powerful 2/2, and every time it does damage, you have to discard. Now, the Thunder Spirit is kind of like a Hypnotic Spectre killer, right? It's a flying 2/2 first strike, so it's not gonna be able to attack with that hippie. I guess I can just kill him. Here comes a White Knight, 2/2 first strike, protection from black. Potentially good. I mean, he's running black-red, but potentially pretty good against, especially in Singleton, where black is like a heavily used color. Would love to see an Armageddon here. I mean, get rid of the Mazavith in the factory would be huge, potentially. And his Sedge Troll's just doing nothing with the Spirit Link. Here comes a Rook Egg. So that's an 0/3 creature. If it's destroy again, would have been nice to have that out before he Earthquaked. Then it comes back as I believe a 4/4 flyer. And if it is killed, you could, he already used his Lightning Bolt. You could Lightning Bolt it, Chain Lightning it. Or just block with it. Block the War Mammoth. And here again, I play with Lurker. Is this a card that one should play with? I think so. It's a 2/3 from the dark. Cannot be the target of spells unless it is declared an attacker or blocker this turn. So you can't, paralyze. You can't use Spirit Link on it. So it has protections from some common cards you see in Singleton. For some reason, when I play Singleton, I draw this card every match. We'll see in this video. I think I might play it every game. Desert. That's a card that also, Singleton is fun really because you see so many cards that you don't in regular Old School, and like Desert's a good example. So after the attack phase, Desert can be tapped to do 1 damage to a creature that attacked. So if you attack with a Llanowar Elf, you can just tap the Desert or a Savannah Lion, gets in for 2, and then you tap Desert to kill it. So it really hoses or holds back the kind of weenie creatures, the smaller creatures. And this is a huge play with Pestilence. Now, yeah, it's like, I don't know, I just kind of threw out Witch Hunter here. I'm not sure why. This is probably a bad move, because he's going to Pestilence. So Pestilence, you could pay 1 black, do 1 damage to all creatures and all players. So he could effectively he could tap it to kill all the 1/1s. He could do it again to kill all the 2/2s. I don't think White Knight gets targeted because it's protection from black, but yeah, he's going to need to leave 1 black open. Or no, the Sedge Troll's a 3/3. But if he was to do Pestilence for three times, he could then regenerate his Sedge Troll if he had a 4th black to kind of clear the board and keep his creature. Yeah, so I guess in this scenario, like, if I didn't play Witch Hunter, he could still Pestilence a bunch of time. Oh, twice, I guess. And Pestilence does go away if there's no creatures on the board. So you could board wipe it, and then it goes away. You could board wipe with it. Yes, I just took the damage from the Earthquake before that I didn't do properly. So yeah, I will say each player in this match just really being pretty relentless. We're not really seeing a mana drought or anything, or people kind of playing weak. This is really strong. But with the Mazavith, the Desert, the Factory, the Pestilence, he's got quite a board state. So let's see what he does. I assume he's going to Pestilence here, potentially for 2. Yeah, you do have to do them 1 at a time. In Alpha 40, you could tap as many black as you want and do a big Pestilence for like 5. You could do it all at once, but the way it's played here is you got to do it 1 at a time. Okay, so each player takes damage, and he does 1 damage to each creature. Thankfully for me, he just doesn't have that much black mana. And there's the second one, so the Hypnotic Spectre and the Thunder Spirit are gone. So that means the War Mammoth is a 3/1 right now. The Lurker is a 2/1. And that's yeah. Great card from Legends that you really only see in Singleton for the most part. So Pyrotechnics, is that how it is? Yep. Deals 4 damage divided any way you choose among numbered target creatures and or players. So yeah, that's a devastating combo with a Pestilence. Yeah, I tried to do a Avoid Fate here, but Avoid Fate is for instants and interrupts and not sorcery spells, which makes me not like Avoid Fate. That kind of... But yeah, he's able to do the Pestilence to weaken those creatures and then take them out with the Pyrotechnics, and that's a big move, potentially a game-winning move. You're seeing just the strength of the black and red combo. Avoid Fate should work, man. I'm gonna just put that out there. Looks like I had a Berserk in my hand potentially there, but that's gonna be a scoop. Absolutely wonderful move with the Pestilence there. Felt like we were doing pretty well up until that devastating turn. We're just gonna blame Avoid Fate. Say Avoid Fate should be a better card. Okay, so if you're playing green or any combination of green, a Forest Land or Elf is exactly what you want to see. Because you got, they are 3 mana turn 2, and here comes Tracker. Again, I use lots of cards from the dark in this deck. Tracker's a 2/2. You could tap it for 2 green, and it basically fights, is what the term, the new term is in newer Magic, but it fights another creature. And so I like this too, because you could Giant Growth Tracker and then have it, and it's a 5/5, and have it fight like a Shivan Dragon, right? And kill it. So it winds up being really strong removal. He's gonna put out a Chaos Orb, just throw it out there. Just keep it on the board, I guess, until he needs it. I'm looking good here at 4 mana. I'm just going to come in and attack, actually. Scavenger Folk. Okay, so, next turn, if he doesn't use the Chaos Orb, we've got Scavenger Folk to eat it up. But also, I don't really have any, great targets for him to select for the Chaos Orb. I wouldn't mind him flipping on any of these cards. Just go ahead, I guess, take out a land card. So 3 swamps. We know he's running black-red, and that's tough potentially if his hand is filled with red cards. But we'll see. I definitely get a little, I wouldn't say nervous, but when you're playing in an elimination game, you lose game 1. It's like, all right, I've got to win the 2 remaining games, or this tournament's over for white-green. So kind of back against the wall here. Alright, so if I activate Scavenger Folk, he can, in response, activate Chaos Orb. And unfortunately, activating Scavenger Folk, sacrifices him. So I wind up just attacking, and just, he looks vulnerable, just get some damage in and play out a Thunder Spirit pass turn. Yeah, I think, I didn't want to sacrifice Scavenger Folk. And again, like I said, I don't mind, he's going to activate the Orb. You flip on any of these cards, doesn't really matter to me. Let's see what he does. So he does landing, does it on the plains. I wonder if he's trying to keep me off Serra Angel with that. And he saw I had White Knight. Thunder Spirit already got cast, that's 2 white. Witch Hunter's 2 white. I think Preacher's 2 white, so certainly knocking out the plains there is big. And oh, that's a huge Pestilence. Ooh. He's gonna board wipe me next turn. Oh, we'll just get in with as much damage as we could do then. Down to 7. Alright, we'll throw out a book, and unfortunately there goes our creatures. Alright, we got them to 7. We're at 20 life. Feeling okay. I don't remember what was in my hand here. So there goes 1 Pestilence. He's down to 6. I'm assuming he's going to do it again. He's down to 5. And Pestilence will go away at end of turn. Unless he has a creature, right? I don't know what he has for, if he's got a Will-O-Wisp. He doesn't. There goes Pestilence. So Pestilence again is coming huge in game 2. Oof, and I've got nothing. I'm gonna just book and pass. The book in the Singleton and the slower games is strong. At least I'll be able to get card draw on him. And never mind. He's gonna Mind Twist. Okay. Oh. Juggernaut would have potentially won the game there. Coming out, I must have just drew it off the book. All right. And we're just gonna go back up, draw again. Mind Twist, so devastating. Sometimes I feel guilty if I'm playing like regular old school like Demonic Tutor into a Mind Twist and twist their hand. It just feels dirty. But it is a powerful, powerful card. And okay, Disrupting Spectre. That's gonna put some pressure on him. If he's got nothing, he's gonna strip mine out of planes. To drop me out of book range. So I think I remember this turn being a blunder because I had that planes in that land card in my hand and didn't play it last turn, and then comes in tapped. So Gaia's Touch, another one I put in here because of the Armageddon. So I can put an additional land into play during each of your turns, but it must be a forest. You could sacrifice Gaia's Touch to add 2 green. So again, it's a good card if you Armageddon and then you have like a Birds of Paradise out or something, and now you could sacrifice Gaia's Touch. You got access to 3 mana. So very bizarre artwork that Mark Poole did there. I don't know what. Yep. So there's a Stone Rain. Again, he's keeping me off white. Off of 2 white, I should say. There comes another Plains, so not going to stop me. Okay, there's the White Knight. So yeah, we only got to do 5 damage. So I'm feeling pretty good if I can get some creatures out. Just book as many times as possible. And hopefully get us to game 3. Now he's got 2 red. Access to 2 red and 3 black. We've gotten past the Pestilence, so we'll see what else. What other tricks we've got to go up against here? It's an Uthden Troll, so that's gonna shut down the White Knight. So Uthden Troll 2/2 with regeneration, 1 red for regeneration. Just reading Gaia's Touch here. I think I was debating at this point, feeling slightly desperate of sacrificing Gaia's Touch to use that mana to use the book. I wind up not doing it there. Okay, so I'm going to Divine Offering on that Spectre, and I am going to sacrifice Gaia. Like, I mean, that's a sign of desperation. Sacrificing Gaia's Touch to draw a card, but this was tough. It was like there was just so many things I could top deck to win here. Erhnamgeddon, or just any big creature. Where's my my elephant? You know. Not getting it, so that gives him some additional turns here. What we don't want to see is like, okay, so he's in his own book. He's gonna pass. We don't want to see like Maze of Iths and stuff. That's just gonna slow me down in Quicksand. Ugh, this is tough. Okay, Witch Hunter. Okay, so potentially next turn, again, just will love Witch Hunter. Potentially next turn can return that Uthden Troll to his hand and attack with the White Knight. Again, just gotta do 5 damage, or just tap the Witch Hunter to get past them. Okay, let's see what he's got. Putting some good pressure on here. Ooh, huge, absolutely huge. Now here's the thing. Just looking at it now, I guess he didn't really tap his mana correctly, right? He had to tap 2 red for 2 different targets. So he has the mana, but he should have tapped the Badlands, I guess. So we're gonna play again. The sprites, not powerhouse, but you only have 5 life. You think you just gotta start attacking through the air, and then Untamed Wilds. It's a card from Legends, 3 to cast, allows you to search for a basic land and put it into the battlefield. Again, I find put that in there more. Lets me kind of shuffle through my deck, especially if I have Sylvan Library out and I don't like what's on top. I could do an Untamed Wilds to shuffle, thin my deck out. It's an interesting card. I mean, costing 3 to cast though is a lot, but we got a flyer out, and so yeah, it's just. Oof, he has like the perfect answer every turn, right? That was a huge fireball. Then I get the flyer out. He gets out huge. Here comes the mighty Shivan Dragon, and for people who played, okay, here comes Erhnamgeddon. If he's got to be careful now with his attacks. In Singleton, the Shivan Dragon, it really feels like it did back in the day, where it's like this is a big 5/5 creature with flying that's going to win the game, and you really feel the pressure when this thing comes out. I really need like I don't know, Swords to Plowshare or something for it. And I'm going to have to, unfortunately, give, I guess, his Uthin Troll Forest Walk next turn. It just feels like he's just got answers here. I think I was debating kind of chump blocking with the sprite, but I figured I have more turns. Potentially, and there's a Maze of Ith, huge Maze of Ith, because possibly if I was to top deck a Giant Growth and get in for 4 with the sprite, but now that Maze of Ith's going to prevent that from happening. So what we do? Yeah, go for a book. Feels like green-white's kind of playing well, but just doesn't have the it's too much. There's too much on the other side. Let's see though. Let's see what he's got. Now his Uthin Troll is unblockable. He could swing in for, I guess, for 8 in the air if he buffs the dragon up. Oh, Royal Assassin. Great card. So a 1/1, and then if any creatures I have are tapped, he could tap his assassin and kill them. Again, it's like, Maze of Ith, Royal Assassin, it's really getting hard to attack him. It's hard to get around what he's got, I mean. I think you've got it. No, I'm not going to chump block. He doesn't buff the Shivan. And there's a Will of the Wisp. It's an 0/1. And he plays out of swamps. He's got nothing left. So Will of the Wisp is an 0/1 that has regeneration. At this point, I just don't see how I could get through his defense. I mean, a Pendelhaven, I have a balance in this deck. I don't know if it even helps me at this point, unless I attack with everything and he kills them and I balance. Let's see. So I got 5 life. I should be able to survive another turn. I'm obviously going to block the Shivan with the sprite next turn. And yeah, I don't even know. He's going to totem at the end. I don't think there's anything I could draw here that could get me back in the game. Let's see how it ends. Okay. Yeah, if you're him, you just want to put that pressure in. Just come in with the creatures. Okay. Dragon is blocked. Uthin Troll is going to do 2. Did I take 2 there? I don't know. I didn't say. That's it. Oh, I need an earthquake there. So, man, got him down to 5 life quick, with his pestilence, but it just had the answers. I'm pretty proud this tournament how the white green deck did. Kind of held its own, but the black red, and that was a really strong player. It was a super fun match to see. I'll definitely be back in Singleton in the future, maybe with a little different deck. So we'll hold everyone in suspense until then. Thanks for watching.